Hey everybody, Alex from SeemsGoodMagic.com here, and I'm doing my very first Amonkhet Intermediate Swiss Draft League. If you like the content on this channel, please like and subscribe the video. At the beginning of a new format, I always highly recommend people, if they're coming in a few days after this has been posted, to check the most current draft video that I've posted, because I rapidly improve as I draft, and it's a learning process. All new draft formats are learning processes. We can always have our little card evaluations at the beginning, but those are always subject to change as the format goes on and cards are played with in a very, very large sample size, because then we can establish what's good, what's not so good, and on and on. So thanks so much for tuning in, folks. I can guarantee you there's going to be a lot of Amonkhet drafting going on this channel over the coming weeks. I did get a chance to do a pre-release 2HG yesterday, so I at least have some experience with the cards. I did a draft simulator as well, so I have some experience with the cards, but once again, if you're coming in and this has been out for a week already, make sure you check out the most current draft videos from me. Thanks so much. Let's get this draft underway. All right, and we're off. We opened a very bomb rare here in Glyph Keeper. Let's get the preview pane up. All right, so I think we got to just take the Glyph Keeper. It's a very, very strong card. 5-mana, 5/3 flyer. Counter the first spell that targets it, and then you can embalm it as well. Just very difficult to deal with. I haven't gotten a chance to try the Gale Strike yet, but I imagine that it's good because of cantrips. Vizier of Deferment. I haven't gotten a chance to play with this yet. The ones I did get a chance to play with, Cartouche of Strength, and that is a fantastic one. Likely the strongest one. So anything else crazy good in here? I like the Monuments. I didn't get a chance to play with them, but I saw them played a few times, and I was fairly impressed. So let's start it off with the Bomby Flyer. Keep the Dream Alive. Yeah, so blue... where do we want to be with blue, right? I mean, you can make a blue-white Flyers deck. There's blue-black, of course. A lot of embalm cards along there. Okay, so Hazoret's Favor passed to us. I was surprised this one was a rare. Maybe it's stronger than I think it is. We also have the blue-red deck, right? Blue-red... will let us capitalize on cards like Javelineer. If we get enough instants and sorceries, we may be able to pick up the uncommons as well. On color, we have these Top Crop Skirmishers, which I think are okay. I don't think they're actually great. What's the strongest card in this pack? You know, honestly, this pack does not contain a ton of super impressive cards. I might just take the Javelineer because blue-red is something I was very interested in trying. And you also have the Enigma Drake, the flyer, that gives you this same sort of buff effect, right? It gets +1/+0 for each instant and sorcery. I think this Javelineer is probably pretty good for the blue-red deck as well. Likely better than Hazoret's Favor. I mean, the nice thing is you don't have to use Hazoret's Favor. I think we're going to take the Javelineer here. I like the Emberhorn Minotaur a lot. I think this card beats down hard, but... I like the value of Javelineer a little bit more. If we can make that deck work, we'll see if it happens. So we have Kefnet's Monument now. Makes our blue creatures cheaper. Hyena Pack in red. I really like the Ruthless Sniper. This is a good card. Might just be worth taking here, because blue certainly has a lot of cyclers, as does... I mean, all the colors have cyclers, so... we might just want this Sniper. I mean, this is a powerful effect. You just get to kill your opponent's things. I imagine, I haven't played with it yet, but I think the Sniper is definitely good. No good red cards in here. No blue cards I'm really impressed with. I don't know how I feel about the Slither Blade yet, but I don't love it, I don't think. Anointed Procession seems like a fun card with Embalm. A little bit of a build around. I mean, it works with any token, so it's not just Embalm. But I'm tempted to take the Sniper here. Like, I definitely want to play the Keeper pretty bad. This is such a bomb card that I would feel like a fool for not playing it. But let's take the Sniper. This can kill things. We'll give it a try if we can make that deck come together. So now we have this Horror of the Broken Lands, another cycling card that... oh, what's this? This counter target spell, and then you can... Okay. I don't I think this card's fine, not amazing. So we have the Sure Shot, which I think is good. Lay Bare the Heart. This card is fine, more of a sideboard card. Horror of the Broken Lands, Giant Spider is obviously good. Colorless Cyclers are playable in any sort of cycling synergy deck. We also have the Naga Oracle, which feeds both your Aftermath and Embalm cards, which makes it pretty reasonable. I like the Scribe of the Mindful quite a bit too, if you end up with enough removal. So what is the pick here? It may be the Horror of the Broken Lands, although if any of the 3 colors I have, I want to stay most on color with blue. So I may actually take the Scribe, but I think I'm going to go Naga. Even though it's a 4-drop and it's not actual card advantage, I want to try this out a little bit more, because I think it might be a pretty good effect if you end up with, like I said, enough Aftermath or Embalm in your deck. It can be very good. I mean, it also just... if you're looking for certain cards, it can make your card quality better. So we have Illusory Wrappings, kind of light removal, but certainly blue removal. It's probably the pick here. Couple good green cards once again. I don't really think I like the Reduce and Rubble. It's a tempo-oriented card, which is fine. No Cyclers to be had here. We have Unwavering Initiate, which is also fine. We'll take the Wrappings, though. Like I said, blue removal, a little bit light, but it works. So Hieroglyphic Illumination is a Cycler that we could take. Probably the pick here. I like the Pouncing Cheetah. It's like green removal, sort of. But we'll take the Illumination, get a Cycler. It works synergistically with our Sniper and our Javelineer currently. So we still have both those options, and it keeps us in blue, which like I said, I really want to do because of this Glyph Keeper. So let's take the Illumination here. Good card advantage, good cycling synergy, and probably the best card, certainly the best card for us, I would say, so we'll take it. Okay, so we have a chance at Gale Strike now. What's this Vizier do? The 2-drop 1/3 flyer, and okay, this card is a motivating factor to go deeper into this blue-black cycling deck, which I think would be a lot of fun. We also have this Floodwaters, cancel, Gale Strike, like I said. Probably go with the Shadowstorm Vizier here. This seems like just a great cycling, or, I mean, there's certainly ways to discard cards as well. Miasmic Mummy at 2, the Looter in blue. But let's take the Vizier here. I think it's possibly the strongest card if we end up in blue-black, because we're going to want those synergies quite a bit. So we have a couple. This just gains life if we brick out. Okay, we could take the Painted Bluffs. We can take the Brute Strength. It's fine synergy with our Javelineer or any other cards in blue-red that want instants and sorcery. So we have the 2 blue deck options here, right? We can do the blue-black Cycler, or we can do the blue-red instant and sorcery. So that would indicate to me that those are definitely the 2 directions we have potentially going here, which might... I think we still go Painted Bluffs, though. I feel as though the Javelineer could still possibly be splashed if you end up with enough instants and sorceries. There's still plenty that have cycling as well. There's Evolving Wilds, which is definitely better than Painted Bluffs. We have Cancel, which I don't know how good it is yet. It was awesome, amazing in 2HG, but I don't quite know how good it's going to be otherwise. So we can just take the Evolving Wilds, which would really let us just splash more easily. I think we're going to just do that. Over Fling, Slitherblade, and Thresher Lizard. Evolving Wilds is very good. Always is good. So we did get the Favor back. I still don't think I love it, but it might just be better than Skirmisher. Skirmisher has the synergy with the Naga Oracle, but a 2/1 in general is pretty unimpressive. We could try out the rare, but the problem is we don't exactly look like a beatdown deck, and we may not even be red yet. We're not sure, but we're for sure blue. So I think we'll just take the 2-drop that we can for sure play. So we did get the Monument back. I'm fine with taking it here. The effect is probably good enough. It's still more exciting than the Slitherblade. And I want to try out the Monument anyway, so okay. It makes all of your blue creature spells cheaper. Ooh, getting the Scribe back is pretty nice. I think I'm just going to take it over the Reduce and Rubble. I mean, the beauty of the Scribe is, whether we're in red or black, we're going to have a lot of good spells to return with the Scribe, I would think. And it can block, and it can basically chump and use that ability, which is nice. All right, we'll take the Reduce and Rubble over the Slitherblade now. We're going to let someone have the Hippetra's Mark. I think we're pretty well established that we're going to at least try with these three colors, right? We're base blue, and we're either black or red, and either one is fine with me. So it is always highly recommended at the beginning of the format that you check prices of cards. I'm not going to take anything that's worth less than probably 4. 4 will probably be my magic number. So here I kind of want the Seeker of Insight because it actually gives you... It works for both decks, right? Because it works for this deck by possibly getting instants and sorcery cards in your graveyard, but it also works really well with the Sniper and the Vizier because you actually end up looting if you cast a non-creature spell. So pretty tempted to take the Looter here over the Shimmer Scale Drake, although it is a cycler. And what else do we have in here? I mean, the Stamina is an instant and sorcery, but it's in black. I don't know how I feel about... I mean, this is an efficient card. I love the Trials. The Trial Cartouche plan kind of makes you go deep on that, though, right? Like I said, I want to focus on blue-black, cycle and discard, or blue-red, instant and sorcery, and I think there might be a little bit of overlap there, but for now, let's focus on blue because that is our base color. So I really think this Vizier is good. It has cycling, which is already great, right? But on top of that, it lets you untap another target permanent, something blue typically does not get. Basically a ramp effect. There's Essence Scatter in here, which is certainly playable. I think better than Cancel most of the time, just less color intensive. You can play it sooner. But I don't know yet, I guess. I have to see how this format plays out. The Drake has cycling, so I'd like it, but the Vizier also has cycling with added effects. So I think we've got to take the Vizier here over the Gale Strike, and we're fine with that. Okay, so here's the Enigma Drake. We did get it. We can certainly splash for it. Current instant and sorcery count is at best, what, 2, though? 1, and maybe not even, just 2. So we only have 2, which is going to make the Enigma Drake a little more difficult to get going here. I think the Labyrinth Guardian is actually a good card. They have to target it with a spell, not a ability, which is totally irrelevant. So I think the Drake is the thing I want to play the most, because I think a 3-mana 0/4 is not that great, but if we can get some more cyclers, I think it's actually quite good. And it may be more motivation to just go down the blue-red path. This is difficult. I think Enigma Drake is going to be the most powerful. We can splash for it. I'm okay splashing for it too. Labyrinth Guardian, like I said, a fine pick as well. But we'll take the Drake. I think it's the most interesting for us. So Unburden is quite good. Besides being a colorless cycler, being able to make your opponent discard 2 when you need that is very valuable. So I think I might just take Unburden here. There's also Dune Beetle, which is something I was interested in trying out. But let's go for our cycling synergy here. We have the River Serpent, which also cycles, but I'm going to take the Unburden over it. I think it's better, especially being a colorless cycler and an instant and sorcery. So we want to focus on that now, because we can make both of these plans work, but it really is a little more contingent on cyclers that... all right, well, here's another one. I don't know how I feel about this card, though. In terms of the cards that synergize well with instant and sorceries and graveyards, I don't know if I love the Serpent. It's color intensive, and it's only a 6/5, no ability. But another Enigma Drake. I'm very happy to try and make this deck work, and this has got to be one of the more powerful cards for that plan. So I'm certainly fine taking another Enigma Drake here and going deeper down blue-red spells. And like I said, we can still play Unburden in that deck, right? It's a cycler that gets an instant and sorcery in our graveyard, so I'm fine with that. And we could still possibly splash black, although I don't think that these necessarily are worth splashing for, so let's take the Drake. So the Entangler is a 2-drop. The Naga Oracle can get instant and sorcery cards in our graveyard. which we may have to do now because we're trying to go deep on this, right? The Enigma Drake, Warfire, Javelineer plan. These are our sort of build-around cards, I guess, as well as the Glyph Keeper. The Heckma Sentinel is fine for the blue-black deck. Not quite as good for this deck, although still certainly playable. Maybe we just take another Oracle. We can take the Entangler. It's a 2-drop that I think is very playable. But Oracle might be more in line with what we're trying to do, getting an instants and sorceries in our graveyard to feed the Enigma Drake plan. So I'll take the Oracle here. Okay, so third Enigma Drake. I mean, we're passing the spells that I want, but I'm gonna go super deep on Enigma Drakes. We're gonna try this plan out. Granted, it really is gonna make us work hard, because we're gonna have to work hard to get our spells, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna try for it. If we can make this work, I'll be very happy with that. So we can do Fling. I think it's not amazing in this deck, unfortunately. But Skirmisher maybe just helps us lower the curve. I think because we need spells so bad, I might just take Fling. We have enough creatures to throw, which is nice. But obviously there's some issues here. With double Naga Oracle, it may be smarter to play the Skirmisher, but I really don't think the Skirmisher is all that good. I mean, flinging a big Enigma Drake is kind of the dream, right? Let's just take the fling, I guess. Okay, Tormenting Voice is like perfect for what we're trying to do. We're going to take it over Cartouche. So let's just accept that we're doing the blue-red. Blue-red spells. We're going for spells. We can make this work. Okay, Essence Scatter's a great wheel. But do I like Gale Strike more? A reasonable question here. So expect with a 40-card deck, your opponent is likely playing 15 creatures, which means you're going to hit approximately 40% of your opponent's deck for 2 mana, which is pretty good. Gale Strike returns tapped creatures, though, which I think is also very good. See, my thing about Gale Strike is we're flying over top, so being able to bounce, fill for our graveyard, and draw is just, I think, a little bit too good to pass up there. So we have the Ancient Crab, which can block on the ground. We have the Sacred Excavation, which basically only can return, well, it's got some things. The Hieroglyphic Illumination, the Unburden, the Vizier. I mean, we can return some things. I may just take the Crab. I may actually just take the Scribe. I know it's not amazing, but I think that effect is pretty good. Granted, it's a little bit of non-synergy with the Enigma Drake, but just the fact that you can block, sack, get back something. We can still splash with Evolving Wild and Painted Bluff for like the 5-drop black removal spell. We'll take Dune Beetle, I guess. I don't need to gain life. All right, we'll take the Cryptic Serpent. It could make the deck. If it does, we'd hope to play it for 5 mana. I'm happy to see Sentinel, actually. I mean, we may end up playing that as well. So we have a whole pack. We have 3 Enigma Drakes, which is quite nice. Oh, wow. Yeah, Pull from Tomorrow is a great card advantage spell, and it helps that it's basically... Now our Scribes look a lot better, too. This is a great rare to pull, I think, in return. And there's actually just not much of anything else in here that we want anyway. So Pull from Tomorrow, a great open for us. We're going to take it. We hope to at least play it for, I mean, at 5 mana, instant, draw 3, discard. Not fantastic, but great. I think 6 mana is kind of the magic number there. From Dusk Till Dawn here. Yeah, is Dusk Till Dawn worth anything? I guess that is the question. No. So let's focus on another Javelineer, which I think is fine. Faith of the Devoted is an amazing card in Two-Headed Giant. I can tell you that because each opponent. So in one of our games, me and my... teammate drained our opponent for 20 life. It was, or I did a 20 point. No, we actually did drain them for. We drained them for 20. Yeah, it was absurd. So let's take the Javelineer here. It's synergistically what we're looking for. Granted, we are still actively hunting some more instants and sorceries, but if we can end up with 9, I think we'll be satisfactory. More than that would be fantastic, though. Electrify is obviously a very powerful card and exactly what we're looking for. So we're going to take it here. And actually we're at the point where we can start cutting some things, which is a good problem to have. I think Illusory Wrappings is a bit of soft removal, but we don't have to cut just yet. I guess we can wait until deck building. So let's just take Electrify. So Canyon, how do you pronounce that? I should know. Is it Slow? I'm not exactly sure, but the fact that it has cycling and on color is relevant. May just want the Drake because it also, another Shatterstorm Vizier in here, but we're focused on the red-blue now. So we can take the Drake, it cycles, which means it's going to work with, well, we can also play it more cheaply with the Monument. It also flies. It's not exactly what I'm looking for, to be perfectly honest, but I think we take it. It still has synergy with some other things in our deck as well. We could take the Watchers of the Dead, but this hurts us too much, so I mean, only if we activate it, so it doesn't matter. But I was just thinking is like to help lower the curve a little bit. But I think we just take the Drake pretty happily, actually. Okay, so Decision Paralysis, not an amazing spell, but wait, what's this? Okay. This is, Onward is kind of cool with Enigma Drake if we already have quite a few spells. Stir the Sands is kind of cool on the splash, but it still costs. It's still a bit of an issue. Decision Paralysis is fine. I wanted to try it out. It's a little bit clunky, though. Maybe Violent Impact is actually what we want, because I can just cycle it for 2, and it gets, yeah. It gets us, basically it gets a instant sorcery in our graveyard for the Enigma Drakes, and it lets us do stuff earlier. So for that, it might be more exciting than another 4-drop here. So I think just the fact that we can cycle this alone makes it exciting. I think Onward is kind of cool, though, too. Onward is cool, but I'm going to go with Violent Impact. Wait, did we get it? Oh, okay, we did. It just put it in there. So Limits of Solidarity, another... wait. This is... The problem with this one is it's pretty clunky to do the effect. But it might be more exciting than like a Limits of Solidarity or Violent Impact. It's just, I kind of feel like I already have enough 4-drops. And at least I'm kind of staying busy if I have these like 2-drop cyclers, utility cyclers, like Limits. And it still gives us some synergy, right? With like, I mean, you have to cast it, I guess, to get the synergy. I mean, this is a rare. It's on color. I did play it. I think the memory can come up big. All right, you know what? I'm actually going to take it because it's a rare and I need to try these out. I think it might actually be good enough. There's another Seeker in here, which we're just definitely taking. Over the Blazing Volley, which should probably be fine too. So we can take the Cancel now. We can take another Violent Impact. Well, let's do a little quick spell count here, right? So we've got Fling, Tormenting Voice, Violent Impact. That's 3, 4, 5, 6... 7, 8, 9, 10. We have 10. 10's honestly very good. We could take the Cancel now. It's hard counter. Otherwise, we're taking another Violent Impact. We'll take the Cancel. We'll take the Cancel. I like having access to that. Cartouche is a good card. I mean, we're not going to play Slitherblade. We're probably not playing Cartouche either. It's just not exactly on our plan. So we can take the Nimbleblade Kenra. I think I just like it. This should not have wheeled. Man, this card is so fun to play too. And I mean, we could actually make it work, but I don't think it's worth the splash. I think we will take the Kenra. And I think we're going to end up cutting... I think I just like it more than the Embalm, dude. Like, Prowess for us is going to be better. We can take another Cryptic Serpent. It might actually happen. None of these matter. So, one nice thing about our deck is synergistically, I think we ended up great, actually. Like, 10 spells is certainly going to be enough. I think the Oracles are actually going to come up kind of big for us, too, because of that. I think we're playing the Monument, too, because we actually have a pretty high creature count. And any of our Prowess cards should be good. I don't know how I feel about the Sentinels in this deck. We're going to have to look at some creatures to cut, right? So, we'll figure that out. Okay, getting Decision Paralysis back is actually kind of nice, too. Remember, we can cycle this for 1 as well, so this is cool. I like this deck. We've got some big finishers. I think we're going to try these Serpents out, probably, and cut just less impressive creatures. The Scribes, I'm trying to think how I feel about them. Basically, I want to cut all things that don't synergize with our Javelineer Enigma Drake plan, right? So that just means creatures, instants, and sorceries are all I really want. But I did kind of want to try out the Monument too. Jumping from Monument to Glyph Keeper sounds really ridiculous, and even making our Cryptic Serpent more cheap as well. And I think that ability is actually relevant. Because any creature spell too, that is cool. Okay, because that is really nice. Like, then we can even, like, think about this. We play a Javelineer, kill something, something doesn't untap. That is pretty powerful, actually. I thought it was actually just blue spells, so that is really good. This deck looks sweet. So let's figure out what we're doing. I think the Skirmisher's gone. Like, Embalm is cool. I just don't think we care enough about it. We can certainly cut more creatures, so why don't we sort by group creatures separately for now. Yep. Okay. So maybe double Cryptic Serpents a little bit. Well, the fact that we have double ramp kind of makes the Serpent... This is also a 17 land deck. I'm fine doing that because we have some card advantage, right? Maybe we don't need to cancel, but how many... I don't know how I feel about Reduce either. Like, I'd probably rather just play cancel. Even though I can actually use the Rubble effect, I don't really want to use the Rubble effect, right? Because I want to keep the instants and sorceries in my graveyard. But let's kind of make sure we know what we're doing here. We want to have enough things to really go off. So I'm just going to try and make our curve look a little bit more attractive to the eyes here. So we've got these things. We're definitely keeping the Unburden, I think, because it just cycles for 2, even though we can't play it. I mean, is there... I don't think there's... No, that's fine. So we have 1, 2... Well, I mean, we could do Reduce... Yeah, we could do Reduce Rubble instead of Unburden, just because it's actually got more utility, even though we can't do it early. We're looking a little bit slow, but the problem is we do want to maximize our Seekers getting turned on as well. So maybe Unburden does have to go, just as a cycler. I think the Sentinels can go. Like, I do like it, and we have some cyclers in here, but like I said, I really want to focus on the rest of what our deck can do, because I think it's so good. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can't count the Monument, and we can't count the Wrappings, but everything else is an instant and sorcery. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and I think Fling might actually come up pretty big with this Enigma Drake potentially. If you get in enough, it could just kill your opponent, right? And in response to removal, you can do it to a creature as well. We'll try it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 12 is great, actually. But we have a ton of cuts to make. I may get off the Wrappings plan because the Monument... I think I'd rather keep the Monument, and the Monument can lock things down kind of effectively. I mean, the problem is they have to be tapped already, but I imagine we're going to be attacked on the ground fairly often, right? So I'm okay with cutting the Wrappings, bringing it in if we need it. We still have some removal. I think Unburden is going to actually go. Like, it does lower our count to 11, but as long as we're like 10, I feel as though we're going to be pretty good. The Drake may be unnecessary. I think it's a good card, and it cycles, and it gets cheaper off Monument. Yeah, that's pretty good. But now I'm a little more willing to try these Serpents out, considering we have Monument and just a ton of spells. But maybe we just need 1 Serpent. Because, yeah, with the Enigma... Yeah, we don't need double Serpent. We have 3 Enigma Drakes, Glyph Keeper, and a Serpent. Like, we're good on finishers. That's probably another reason to cut the Drake, too. The only reason I like the Nagas, like I said, we have 3 Enigma Drakes. So Enigma Drake into Naga, put some instants and sorceries in our graveyard, and just beat down hard from above. That's pretty good. That is pretty good. And they get cheaper off Monument, too, which is nice. So Violent Impact is just something to do. I mean, it can deal with artifacts or lands, I guess. Might come up as utility. The counter spells, I'm trying out. The Drake is nice, but especially with the Monument. Maybe I don't need double Scribe. What's our most powerful spell to bring back? Probably like a... Yeah, Pull from Tomorrow is pretty good to bring back in the late game, though. Just draw a million more cards. Yeah, I might need these double Scribes. even though they do sort of weaken the plan. We have double looter too, which is good. It's a little more difficult. Maybe I cut the Violent Impact. That takes us to 10 spells, and then at that point I'm just willing to cut. I have to be willing to cut some stuff like the Drake, which is not synergistically what our deck wants to do. I might cut the Serpent. I kind of want to keep all these 2-drop 1/3s. They might be able to hold down the fort fairly effectively. I guess Nimbleblade Kinra is basically what? It's not good with cancel. It's not really good with reduce. So maybe I cut the Nimbleblade, even though it has prowess. I like being able to counter and loot. I think that's more important than prowess for us. Basically, the reason that I don't think Nimbleblade's great in this deck, even though this is the ideal deck for it, is that our spells are reactive. They're defensive. We have cancel and reduce, which really aren't going to be that great with prowess. They can still come up big for us. Like we can make this a 2/4 and be better defensively, but I'd still rather just loot. And I still think the Naga Oracles can be good for us. See, the thing is, the Naga Oracle is kind of meant for Aftermath and Embalm, which we don't have a ton of. But for our deck, it's more of just getting the instants and sorceries in there. I mean, we have a couple Aftermath spells, but we don't even really want to use the second part for the most part. I mean, memory could just be ridiculous sometimes. So just drawing 7 when your opponent has like 5 cards in hand, you have none, is huge, I think. We could just full-on cut all the Cryptic Serpents. It is just a 6/5, and between triple Enigma Drake and Glyph Keeper, we have 4 big win cons that are evasive for our deck. So that might make the most sense. So maybe I cut the Serpent, and maybe I cut the Nimbleblade. That brings us down to 13 creatures, so I don't want to cut any more creatures, which means we have to cut a spell. I could cut the Monument. I did want to play the Monument, but it may in fact be in our best interest to, especially now that we're at 13 creatures, to just really, really focus on the Enigma Drake synergies, the Javelineer synergies. Yeah. I think we're going to run it like this. Now, like I said, we're cutting cards that definitely could have worked for our deck. And I think we still play Evolving Wilds just for potential fixing. Like, I don't think the coming to play tapped hurts us that much. I don't think. So, okay. Like I said, we have the Cryptic Serpents, which are fine for us, but we're maximizing our instant and sorcery count. Okay, I've spent enough time. I think that I'm happy enough with this build. So we're going to do it like this. So we have a few double blue, and no double red. So I think we can pretty easily afford to do Evolving Wilds, and then if we do 9/7, that's 10 blue, 8 red, which seems fine to me. If we do this, this actually is fine too, though, isn't it? Because it's 9 and 9. 9/9 might be just worth it. I mean, we definitely want to see our red on turn 3. And it's not like our double blue comes up early anyway. I guess with the cancel it does. But let's do 9/9. I think that's fine. So, red-blue, trying it out. We've got some counter spells in here. They may be too slow. We'll find out. But we've got some removal in these Javelineers too. So this deck looks cool. This deck looks like fun. We have more than enough finishers, I think, with triple Enigma Drake and Glyph Keeper. So I'm excited to try it out. We're looking a little bit clunky, but we are running 17 lands. We have some draw card effects, some looting shenanigans as well. So this deck looks like a lot of fun. Thanks for tuning in, folks. We'll see how it runs. We'll see you round 1. Okay, I decided to do one more swap. I'm going to cut one of my Scribe of the Mindfuls, and I'm going to do the Cryptic Serpent instead. I might regret this, but I want to try out the Serpent in this deck. It just seems like such a It seems like if I'm going to play an any deck, this is probably the right one, I think. So I'm going to play the Serpent over the Scribe and get one more big finisher, and I think one Scribe should be good enough anyway. I mean, we definitely have some goodies to bring back, but I want to try out as many of this archetype's cards as possible. So we're going to run the Serpent as well, and now we actually are going to play, so I'll see you round one.